here you are once again with the Shins costume on. And the last time we'd heard you talk about it, you were actually in a very different mindset, it seemed like. You were talking about, and the quote that got passed around was, the Shins got too heavy.
Yeah, the last interviewer brought that up. I forgot about that. Yeah, I think it had. You know, we toured really hard for Wincing the Night Away, and the idea of just going right back into the studio and doing another Shins record wasn't real appealing to me. I mean, it is so much of a creative effort on my part, the songwriting and everything. So I was really looking for something that was going to be more fun and more collaborative. Mm-hmm. And luckily, Brian Burton was in the same mode, looking for a new project to do and wanted to collaborate songwriting-wise with somebody. So Broken Bells happened.
Mm-hmm. So was there ever a point in it where was it always just, I'm taking a break from the Shins, or did you ever think maybe that's the end, maybe there will be no more Shins?
I did think about that. That was a possibility, I guess, in my head. Mm-hmm. But I pretty soon realized that I still had these songs that I was writing that were, you know, songs that I still had that desire to be the real creative control behind something.
Right.
You know? So that's still an outlet for me in the Shins, and I decided I didn't want to let that go.
Mm-hmm. With the Shins kind of being, I mean, you know, I guess you collaborate with other people while you're in it, but it also kind of seems like, you know, you are the creative force behind it. Is it something to, you know, is there a difference between calling it the Shins and just calling it, here's James Mercer, my solo record?
Right. Well, one is just an aesthetic feeling that I have about the singer-songwriter concept. It's not as appealing to me as the idea of a band. And even though I know that oftentimes that's just a new thing, mm-hmm. I just like the idea of something being seen as something other than just the personal musings of an artist.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So my idea is just to collaborate with people in the process of recording and fleshing out my songs, and whoever they are and however we do it, that's the Shins.
You do have some new band members around this time, right?
Yeah, a lot of new people. I mean, and new people on the record and old people on the record. I mean, Big Hernandez and Marty Crandall are on the record, along with Nick Freitas, who I met in Broken Bells. He played guitar and keyboards in Broken Bells. Joe Plummer, Ron Lewis, who was in the Shins in the past. Eric Johnson's on the record. You know, so Janet Weiss plays drums on a bunch of songs. But then on the live thing, it's Joe Plummer and Jessica Dodson, mm-hmm. Richard Swift, Yuki Matthews, and me.
Yeah. Personally excited about the Richard Swift part. I think there are a lot of, especially the blog kids out there, seem to pick up on that one pretty quickly, too.
Oh, cool. He's a great guy to hang out with, too.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this. Port of Morrow, of course, I'm going into this blindly. I haven't heard it. I assume you've heard it a few times by this point. What is how do you see this new CD, this new album, as the evolution? Where in the evolution of the Shins does this fit?
Well, I think it's a lot more experimentation sonically. Working with Greg Kurstin allowed access to a bunch of really terrific vintage old synthesizers and organs and stuff like that. And so it's a richer sound. I think the songwriting is more efficient and better, you know, just all around.
Well, hearing Simple Song so far, I mean, it does sound bigger. I know there's a bit of the play that I think critics are doing already with, you know, Simple Song being not exactly all that simple, but it does sound bigger, and I, you know, it seemed like you were moving towards that with Wincing and everything, but this maybe is kind of the biggest production that we've heard from the Shins so far.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and a lot of that is, again, Greg's abilities as an engineer and producer. Yeah. He just kind of knows what he's doing, you know. And I was happy to hand over a lot of those duties. You know, I had engineered a lot of stuff on the last records, and realized that that's not really my strong suit. stick to the songwriting maybe.
Right. Would you see this as the most important record of your career so far?
The most important, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
You know, how well it does and stuff. I think it's my strongest.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always translate into something that's life-changing or anything.
Well, I guess I'm hitting more upon the expectants. I mean, you'd gone pretty far when you did hit on Wincing, but with the Broken Bells, it seemed it almost launched you into kind of a new level with everything, and the anticipation that comes when you're talking about, all right, this is the record after that. This is the Shins that have been away for 4 years
Right.
now. It seems like on the front side, it could be the most important.
Yeah, no, you might be right. I mean, maybe this is sort of because of Broken Bells and because of the 5 years that it'll be when it's released, you know, since the last Shins thing, maybe it is just going to be much more anticipated and more scrutinized. I mean, it's very likely. Don't scare me.
More scrutinized. Sorry, don't mean to plant those seeds. Let's see here, though. Since you left off, though, you became a father, right?
Yes, I've got 2 little girls.
I would imagine this has played a big part into I guess something artistically, as it seems to do when folks go through this stage in their career.
Yes, it certainly has. You know, I mean, there's a lot of perspective shift that
Yeah.
happens when you have kids, and I think a lot of things in life become more poignant and clearer. You know, there's a certain amount of ease with which I can make certain decisions now because my priorities are so straightened out.
Yeah, I don't know if you've had the same instance. I have a 4-year-old, so it's amazing how it just kind of centers you. It sounds like that. You know, you were saying something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, it does center you in some ways, but it's also emotionally and in some practical ways really unnerving.
Yes, of course.
You know, like you suddenly have this part of your world that you love so dearly, and you realize right away that they're pretty fragile. You know, so it can be it's a really wonderful experience, but also there's, I think, any thinking person or parent is also somebody who's scared to death.
Right. I've gone through that one myself. So at this point, I mean, you're the career musician. You know, that I think that's safe to say. Is there the dividing line between this is my job and and I can do this and not have my job be part of my life?
I think that it's pretty difficult to keep them entirely separate. I think this time, heading out on tour, we're going to try and bring the family along, and so that'll certainly be a meshing of the 2 worlds. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, be interested to see that one too. Well, man, thank you so much. Simple Song sounds amazing. There's no doubt in my mind that it's going to be a big year for you. So looking forward to the record, and hopefully we'll see you around these parts.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the interview.
All right. Have a great day, James.